This video, I want to show you the Claude Stack. So if you are a developer, you probably noticed that AI is everywhere. It's in the products we use, but it's also in the way that we code. If you're like me, you started using, let's say, GitHub Copilot in VS Code, and that was interesting, like it gave you a powerful autocomplete. But then you found out about PawsSure and you started using those features and you felt a productivity boost. You felt that you could code, implement features faster, resolve bugs faster, implement products faster. And now what I would like to show you is Claude Code, but go beyond Claude Code and show you the entire Claude Stack. And to me, this is crazy. It's something that I never thought about doing a video about, which is sharing how much this AI tool has changed the way that I work, the way that I think about work as well, and how much it's helping me gain productivity. So I think it's a super relevant video to watch until the end if you want to learn more about AI and how it can transform your work. I think as developers, our job is being super affected by this technology, and it's going to go to all other areas of life. We're going to see AI being more and more important over time. So now is the best time to pick up and learn these tools and learn about Claude at this moment, which I think is the most powerful tech stack to use as a developer to do all the things that I said before that we were doing with Cursor. Now Claude is doing that and much more. So let me show you. I think there are three very big activities that we do as developers, and maybe we do them manually. It takes us a day, it takes us a lot of time to grok to this information, to type out the content. And I think we can start doing in a day the work that took us days before, took us a week. And let me show you what those three things are. The first one is transforming anything into product requirement documents, PRDs. So imagine you have a brand new feature, or imagine you have a code base you're not familiar with, and you need to implement a new feature. You need to do a technology migration. Whatever it is that you need to do, transform that into a PRD. So here I have written down a couple of examples where you can take a transcription of a meeting you had with a customer, or even a meeting that the customer had with their customer. You can take that conversation, extract insights, and turn that into a PRD. You can take epics, information, requirements loaded into Jira or any tracking software that you use, turn that into a PRD. You can take existing code bases. But you might be wondering, okay, why do I need a PRD? What am I going to do with a PRD? It's a good question. So LLMs, and especially Claude Code, the way it works is it can turn PRDs into a task list. A task list where it basically takes sometimes a complex PRD, breaks it down into as many steps as it needs, so smaller steps of work where it's going to accomplish, implement them one at a time, give you the ability to review, to test, ask for modifications along the process, and implement that entire PRD from a single prompt. That is really powerful. It means that the AI is helping us developers do something that we learned many years ago that is important, which is you take a complex problem, you break it down into smaller, simpler, with a more defined scope, so it's just easier to work. For LLMs, it's the same thing. And Claude Code is amazing at following a task list. It's amazing at breaking down problems into smaller ones and keeping track of what it's done. So this is the step number one. Anything big that you need to do, having a PRD that you generated with AI from any type of content is super powerful, and you can do that with this Claude Stack that I'm about to show you. The other thing that is a lot more obvious for us developers that you can do with Claude Code is the implementation. So even if you don't have a PRD, if you have a simple requirement, a simple idea that you have in your head, and you have your code base, you can prompt that to Claude Code and get it implemented. This is going to be very similar to, let's say, Cursor and what you can do. But if you haven't tried Claude Code, I do advise you to try it. It is really powerful. It is really smart in how it works. And so I would say give it a chance. I'm finding, and many people on Twitter that I talk to are also finding Claude Code to be just really good at being this AI assistant that's super capable of implementing features. And I'm gonna give you a demo of that. The other thing is resolving PR reviews. That's a big thing for us developers, is getting our code reviewed by our colleagues and also by AI. And what you can do is take those advices, take those comments, take those reviews, and basically implement. So if you used to take 1 hour or a couple of hours just of your day resolving PR comments, now it may as well be a single prompt where you ask Claude, hey, I have these comments in my PR, help me fix them. You let it go in a loop, you watch it, you go through it, and you can accept as it solves those PR reviews. It's really crazy, really powerful, and yeah, the entire goal is to gain productivity boost out of this stack. So let me jump in and show you a quick demo. So what I have here is this application, Pause Insurance. I generated this with V0, so yet another AI tool helping me make this video. And let's see, we have our pets here, plan details. Let's log out and let's try to log in on the other side where we log in as an owner. Let's see if I can log in. Okay. And over here, we have a couple more things that we can do. All right. And what are we going to do? Let's start with number one, where we need a PRD. We have a new requirement that just came up. So let's see what we can do. So this is a transcript of a conversation. The customer here is talking about the changes that they want to make in the UI and UX to make it more suitable for their customers. So this is a pretty short conversation, but it could be a very long with lots of nuance in the conversation. In this case, this is yet again a transcript that I generated with AI just to give you this demo, since I cannot show you real client conversations. But imagine this is a real transcript. So let's go ahead and turn this into a PRD. For that, I'm going to use Claude Code. Let me go ahead and grab this UI transcript. I'm going to drag it over here. I'll be using Claude Opus. I have extended thinking enabled, and I'll just prompt it. Help me make a PRD for this, let's call it UI enhancement. This will be given to a developer to implement. Let's give it a go. All right. It's working on it, and it's giving us here on the side PRD for this UI enhancement. Let me put myself on the side. This is excellent. See if I can scroll up and just to show you what this PRD looks like. It's very interesting. You got the date right. It has a summary of the improvements we want to do. Has a background and context. It has objectives, target users, and here more concrete things such as the colors, typography. All right, so it is going to be quite long, super long. Let's see. Yeah, this is a lot of work. It seems like it's a complete like AI revamp of the visual identity of our product. So what can we do with this PRD? Let's go ahead and let's copy it. Copy. And then let's jump over to my ID. So in this case, my editor is Cursor, and I'm using it integrated with Claude Code. So let me go ahead and make my camera small. I don't want to be on the way of the code right now. I'll put myself here just for the moment. So let's go ahead and let me open some things up. So I'm going to put here in the docs, I'm going to put the PRD, and I'll just paste what I copied from Claude Desktop. So you can see this is a much longer version, much more comprehensive. And this is going to be the other way around, right? In a transcript, it's going to be super long, and then it's going to be condensed into a smaller version. But that's just the data that we're working with here. Let me go ahead and show you. So let's say you are in Cursor or VS Code for this example. The first thing you want to do is go over to extensions and you want to search for Claude Code. So you're going to take this extension and you're going to install it. You see that I already have it installed. And what that's going to do is it's going to show up over here at the top. And anytime the Claude Code is doing edits to files, you're going to see the diff right in here in your IDE. So you can accept, you can ask for changes, which is a really nice experience. So let's boot up Claude. Now that you have it installed also in your IDE, you also want to follow the README to install Claude Code and configure your API key or plan. And what should we do? What should we do when we start? Let's say this is a brand new project. The first thing you want to do is do a /init. So this is going to initialize ClaudeMD based on the documentation of the code base. So let's do that. So right now, what we want is Claude to look at the code and give us a file with the main things that it knows. And here is something amazing that I wanted to show you. It's the task list that I was telling you about. This is a small visual bug, but basically it has like 5 items and it's tracking the things that it needs to do. So it needs to read the package JSON, understand the project dependencies. You see, he now checked that item because it did it. And then you have read the README if it exists, analyze the codebase structure, architecture, create the Claude.md with findings, and check for cursor rules or copilot instructions. So this is really perfect. It's really what I would want from the init command, is to understand the code, understand the structure, the dependencies, and create a documentation that will later be used for everything. And why this is important is because when we actually start our work implementing the new feature of the UI enhancement, well, we want to really understand the code base, and that's what we're doing in this step. Now, this is not something that you need to do every day or every time. You only want to do this when you have not initialized ever in a new code base, or you made drastic changes that have not been updated to the Claude.md file, you may want to rerun just to have a fresh version. So let's wait for this process to finish. You can see Claude Code gives you the time that it's been running for, and it gives you the amount of tokens that have been consumed, and it gives you the option to interrupt. At any time, you can interrupt Claude Code and change the plan, change the course of things. So that is really nice. You can also press at any time Control R to see a bigger version of what it's doing. In this case, I think there's nothing to see. So let's give it enough time for it to finish. And I'll show you a couple more things about Claude Code. So while that's happening, just another thing I'm going to show you. If you press the question mark, you have 4 options as of today. You have the bash mode, the commands, the ability to reference a file with the @ and the ability to memorize specific information or session. So let's say you want to, you know what you want to run, you just press exclam and you're in bash mode. So now you can run commands. Oh, I did it. Continue. I accidentally pressed ask. So just ask it to continue, which is really nice to show you because it's going to happen to you, of course. And you can just use natural language to prompt. And you see, in this case, I didn't want to actually do any change. So it just continued the task that it was doing before I mistakenly pressed ask. In this case, this is a little bit of a mistake on my side. It started to analyze this PRD, which I actually want to do differently. I want to do separately. So let's wait for it to finish. When it's done, we're going to go into the ClaudeMD file, take a look, and then also remove anything about this PRD because I want to have that fresh in a completely new session to show you what changes are going to happen. Okay, so last couple moments now, it finished analyzing the code base. It took 2 minutes, it seems, to do it. So it's not exactly fast, but it is powerful. And it's also the kind of long process that you can just leave running and you can go do something else. So before I answer this, before I accept, I want to show you this. This is the integration between Claude Code and any VS Code compatible IDE. And as you can see here, we have the information that Claude wants to use based on the analysis that it did of the code base. So it has a summary of the technologies, of the folder structure, how authentication works. So yeah, at the end of the day, it turned out to be a super short file, which is not bad because Claude is going to use this file every time that you prompt. So it's good that it's not a huge file. It only has the important stuff. So I'll just say that I like it, accept. Let's let it finish and I'll show you. All right, cool. So we're done with this part of analyzing the code base. We have it all done. Let's move on to the actual feature that we want to implement. I'm gonna press Shift Tab. You can see that I turn auto accept on, but I want to do it again, Shift Tab. And now we're in planning mode. This is a completely new feature. I actually accidentally found it, and I saw on Twitter people also talking about it like, whoa, this is is completely, they silently added. They didn't make any announcement, but it's there. And I want to test it because I've used other tools where you have this planning mode, which is basically a more careful version of your regular prompting, where it's going to not make any changes, but it's going to carefully plan what it needs to do. So let's go ahead and test it. Let's first of all run the clear command, because we want to start with a fresh session and we don't want to continue all of that initial analysis that we did. And let's start by tagging our PRD. So I'm in the PRD, as you can see, and my IDE automatically picks it up and says, oh, this is the file that I'm at. So if you don't want to tag, I don't even think you need to tag, but I'll make it explicit anyway. And what I want to say is plan the implementation of this PRD. So this is super simple prompt because I'm already in planning mode and the PRD already has all the content of the change that we want to make. So this again is going to take a while. I'm going to kick it off. And this is the kind of stuff that you can go ahead and you can hop into a meeting. You can go help a colleague. You don't need to be sitting here waiting for this process to happen. And it's nice because it's going to happen for you with a very decent quality. And this planning phase is going to help us with the next phases, which is when we want to actually go ahead and implement. All right, I'm back. Now it's taking quite a while, but let's see. This is quite an interesting result that we got from that. So just to show you what we got. So it said, I'll analyze the PRD, make a comprehensive implementation plan. It analyzed the current UI implementation. It used 11 tools. That's 36,000 tokens in 1 minute and 60 seconds. So almost 2 minutes here. It gave us 1, 2, 3. It gave us 4 phases. It even broken out in weeks with a really comprehensive explanation. So, okay, super cool, super complete. But it didn't. So it didn't save this anywhere. And let's think, how do we want to save it? At this point, I'm gonna disable plan mode, and I'll just show you quickly. Well, I don't know if I want to press it, but we have MCPs. You can install any MCP here to use, which is super powerful. You can analyze data. You can chat with external services from Claude Code, which is really nice. But what I have in my Claude Code is a Taskmaster MCP, which is basically a way that you can turn this project plan that Claude created in the planning mode, and you can turn that into multiple tasks. And once you have it, you can let it run in a loop where it implements task by task, gives you complexity reports. It's a pretty useful MCP. I don't always want to use it because it takes a long time to run. It's really meant for large tasks. In this case, I may want to use it just to show you how that works. But, if you want to use Claude Code, you don't necessarily need to use this MCP or any other MCP for implementing code. Claude can do this very well on its own. So I'm not going to use that MCP just to show you Claude without any extra things. Let's go ahead and say, sounds good. Let's implement. Actually, yeah, I'm having second thoughts here. I do want to start by saying, please save this project plan in a file. So I want to make sure that I don't lose all of this analysis that it did So I would like this to be stored. Then again, another option that you would have if you're using an MCP like Taskmaster is you can ask, let's create the tasks using Taskmaster. And it's, again, going to take this content and put it into files. But then, you should continue using the MCP throughout the implementation, and I don't want to do that. So I rather just save it in an individual file and use that file with Claude Code. Then again, right, there are multiple options, multiple ways that you can code using these tools. You need to find the one that fits you best. But just to reiterate on the power of these tools, what's the best use cases for them? As you saw here, they take quite a bit of time to run, depending on the prompt, depending on what you ask it to do. So you want to do it for, complex tasks or tasks that require changes in multiple files. Right? You don't want to be losing time in this process. So, okay, it did exactly what I asked. It put the project plan right over in a file. So let me save it. Let me save it. And so here's what we're going to do now. We're going to take a look here so you can see in terms of new files, I have the Claude initialize file. I have the PRD that we took from the transcript, and now we have the implementation plan. So let's go ahead and work on the implementation plan, not using any MCP. I'm going to clear out, so start up a brand new conversation, and I'll say implement the project plan. What's the name of the file? What's the name? Implementation plan. All right. So let's do it. We are in a brand new session that doesn't have all of the previous planning tokens. Since I have here like an empty Git branch over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable auto accept. You only want to use this when you want to let it run, and you want to be hands off. And in this case, that's exactly what I want to do. You can see it started by working on phase 1. And it's going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to run this process for all the phases, and I'll get back here in the recording once it's finished to show you the result. So to show you the before and after the UI revamp that we did using Claude Code. So see you in a couple. Hey, just jumping back here real quick, I wanted to show you how the auto accept looks like. So auto accept is not gonna create the UI where you can look here and accept or deny things. It's just going to give you in the terminal the changes that it did, and it's going to continue to the next task and to the next, to the next. It's not gonna ask you for anything unless it wants to use a tool that it hasn't been authorized before. You're going to have to press yes, go ahead and do it. But in this case, it's only going to be editing files, so I don't need to do anything. It's going to go in a loop until it finishes the work. Just wanted to show you this part. And also, before I stop the recording again, you can see, again, this is not any MCP here. This is just Claude Code tracking the phases, tracking the items, and doing one at a time. And also that's why I kind of feel like sometimes you don't need the MCP for tracking project changes. Claude Code does it very well, does it natively. So I would say start with that if you're unsure about what to use. All right, it took quite a bit, but it finished. Let me show you what the last couple output tokens look like. So it crossed out all the phases until 2.4. There are a couple more about other improvements that he wants to do, but these are the core ones. And if you look at the plan, this is sort of like week 3 and 4. Let me actually confirm. So it went until 2.4. So that's, week 4 of implementation that we did in a couple of minutes here. And then let's jump here. It said that it completed. It did the design setup, color palette, core features, additional enhancements. And if you take a look at the diff, let me show you that part. The diff on the files, it's like a lot of changes, many things I found. These hard-coded colors where it changed to the primary. So yeah, this was a complete UI revamp. I'm gonna go ahead and run the project with the before and after so we can compare and talk about the results. All right, so here we are. This is the revamped PawsSure SaaS application. This is the after. We now have our color schemas, the palette, much more clean, the icons, and even here the details of the tiny pet hands here, which is really nice. Over here, this is the old version. You can see that it looks like every other application that comes out of Visio. They all look like this. And I definitely see an improvement here on this page. Going here on the side, of course, we don't have pet pictures. We don't have a backend for this. But this looks really, really nice. Care claims, let's compare these tables. And then again, here we don't even have any data. These are all in the empty state. And in this new version, we do have some state. I think these pages don't exist. Yeah, so let's go and jump over to the side of the business owner and log in over here and compare that. Very quickly, you also saw the login page. It doesn't look that much different. Just getting this. Okay, very similar change that I did. The colors. Let's see, manage employees. Yeah, same structure but different sort of fonts. I do like a lot more the font that I chose on the new website. The icons, they all have a life to it. Compared to the V0 version, it's a lot more raw and a lot more like every other V0 application. So let's jump in here. I don't like too much that it made, like every single card pops out. But maybe that was in the PRD and maybe that was in the conversation. So it's not like it's doing something it wasn't supposed to do. And perhaps the users of this SaaS application, they would like, it could be just a personal thing. The previous version didn't pop up all the time. Yeah. And let's see here. Yeah, this was pretty much the revamp. Just a couple of screens. And it was a pretty hands-off approach. Like we put basically 3 prompts. And if you think about that as a process and you use that to make features, like just in a couple minutes here. So just in a couple minutes here, we made this entire UI revamp for these pages. It could have many more pages. They would be broken out into different phases, but we do get a really nice output. And I'm no designer by any means, so this definitely helps you to, kind of help where you don't have expertise. Now you can do a lot more. You can get a lot further in the process by using these tools. And if we remember this sort of process of using Claude Code, we just did number 1 and number 2, where we take a PRD from any sort of text. In our case, it was a fake transcript that helped us completely change the UI here to a more consistent look with better icons, better colors. This process works. I've done it many times at this point for complete product features where, you don't need to think of this as only for UI changes. It can work for front-end, back-end features. I just wanted to show you the process. The process is going to be exactly the same for any big feature that you want to do. The implementation, I kind of skipped over because I had auto accept on, but at any time I could be stopping and telling whatever I wanted to be done differently. And so the other thing that I'm not gonna do in this demo, but we can record a different demo, is resolving PR reviews, where after making all of these changes and pushing them to GitHub, either you get colleagues to review or even an AI like CodeRabbit to be plugged in your repository and doing reviews. You can also ask Claude to implement the fixes necessary based on the comments that you got. So this does indeed become a loop of productivity. If you really kind of think about it, in just this morning, in a couple of minutes, I completely did a UI revamp, which could have been much, much better in terms of result had we used, had we had a real conversation, had we had specialists also talk about these features. This was all artificial. It was all artificially generated. I think the magic comes when a group of people is really working towards something and you have people with different domain expertises. I just wanted to show you this process that as a developer, you can now do what before you needed a team of people. This work would need to be split between multiple developers to work in multiple pages. Now one developer can do, which is me, and I'm not even a specialist in UI changes, in design changes, and I was able to get super far with this. And the quality of the output really comes from my ability to put together the plan, to put together the PRD, to review it, to use the AI to my advantage. And I think that's a big shift in how we use these tools and how we leverage AI in our workflow. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. I hope this was valuable. I hope this got you some insights in how you can use this Claude Stack to your advantage, how you can build faster, build more with higher quality in all areas of your product. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you liked it. Leave a subscription, leave a like, and I'll see you in the next.